Hello everyone, my name is Lindsay and welcome back to Blushing Pink Stitches. This is actually a Flosstube Extra episode where I'm going to be doing a flip through and a review of the new Emma Congdon book, Cross Stitch for the Heart. So this is Emma Congdon's third cross stitch book. She has two others out. One is called Cross Stitch for the Soul and the other one is called Cross Stitch for the Earth, and I have shown both of those on my channel before. This is coming out, let me just double check, on the 12th of July this year, so not too long to wait now, just a couple of weeks. So you can pre-order it if you want to, and then you'll be able to get your hands on it in a couple of weeks time. So like it says down the bottom here, there are 20 designs in here, and they're all around the theme of love in some sort of way. So we're going to have a flick through this. This is a copy that I was kindly sent by the publisher, so thank you very much to them for sending it to me. I'm going to have a flick through it, talk to you about some of the designs in here and what's in the book, and then hopefully you'll get an idea of what it's like, and that you'll pre-order it. So we've got the front cover, and then it gives you an overview page at the beginning with, I don't know if it's all of the designs, but there are quite a few designs here, and you've got Emma Congdon's kind of classic style, lots of typography in different fonts, and then lots of nature and lots of sort of nature motifs and things like that. So just from the overview page, a contents page, you can see that there are some really lovely designs in here. Hopefully I've got that all in, yeah. This is the first time doing a video with the camera top down, so hopefully you can see everything I think that you can. We've got a little introduction, a little photo page here with some of the designs on it, fully finished. It gives you a bit of an overview page of the types of tools and materials that you'll need. So if you are a beginner, then this is a really good page. It gives you exactly what you need in terms of how to get started, the sorts of things that you'll have to invest in order to get started. And there's even a little box down here about sustainability, which I really like. Then we've got the first design here. So we've got Be Brave, My Heart, Have Courage, My Soul. And then we've got some different typography here. We've got a lovely heart motif in the middle, and we've almost got like a circus kind of theme to it, with these sort of motifs in the bottom. And this has got a really lovely colour palette to it. One of the things that I like about Emma Congdon's designs, especially in her in the books that she has brought out, is that you don't need a lot of DMC. 15 colours, 20 colours at most seems to be sort of the most amount that you'll need, but some of the designs only need sort of like around the 10, and that's really good. You don't need an awful lot of material to do it on. It does give you the stitch count over here, and if you stitched it on 14 count Aida or 28 count linen, what the overall design size will be. Obviously you have to allow for margins as well, so add on some 2 or 3 inches each side for margins. It does suggest the Aida or the lining that you can buy, but of course you can change that and do it on whatever colour or whatever size that you would like. So I'm just going to make sure that I'm flicking past the pattern pages. Just bear with me a second. So that's the first design. I really like that. I really like the sentiment behind it. This is the second design. She tends to have some hoop finishes in her books, and also on her Etsy shop. Her Etsy store is Stitch Ravia. And this is Life is the Flower for Which Love is the Honey. And I really like the colour palette on this, and the simplicity of it. You know, it says it's on antique white Aida over here. There aren't that many colours, but I think it's really, really effective. It's a lovely one to stitch for spring or summer. And it's a really nice saying on there as well. So that's definitely one that I think will be on my wish list to stitch. The next design is this lovely typography design within a heart shape. It's quite an unusual, well, unusual is probably the wrong word, but a different way of framing a design, and you seem to have the word love in lots of different languages, which I really appreciate, including some alphabets that are not westernized, shall we say, or sort of not like an English alphabet. So that's really lovely. Again, it has a really nice colour palette, and even the blue in it, throwing that one in there just gives it that bit of lightness, which I really enjoy. This one's a bit of a bigger one. It's a bit more of a full coverage one, but still a really nice design. Flicking past the pattern pages. Again, this one is lots of small motifs, all to do with love, and it seems to have a bit of a travel theme to it as well. So we've got the Eiffel Tower here, we've got the sort of special post sign, and lots of other bits and pieces. This is one that you could stitch all together, but equally you could sort of take an individual motif and just make that into a card or a small pillow for your display or something like that. And I think that would be really, really lovely as well. This is one of my favourite bits on this one here, and I really like the key motif as well. Again, really, really lovely colour palette. Okay, this is one that I've seen Lauren from Cross Stitch Bunny stitch, and she stitched it on a really lovely piece of printed fabric, and it looks really effective. So it says, I love you for all that you are, all that you have been, all you are yet to be. This would be a lovely piece to do as a wedding sampler, or perhaps as an anniversary piece for either yourself or a couple that you know that have been together for a long time. Maybe it's their 10 or 20 year anniversary or whatever. This would be a really lovely one to do. Because it is just words with some back stitching, this one I don't think would take that long to do either. So it's something that you could knock up quite quickly for a present. I think it would be really appreciated. And I love, they've got it on sort of like a blush Aida or linen here. I think it's an Aida. And I really like the colour of that against the darker pinks and the blues that you've got in the design. That's really, really lovely. The next design in the book is You Are My Sun, My Moon and All of My Stars, and that's a quote by E.E. Cummings. I really like this one in terms of the quotation. I think the quote's really, really lovely. Again, this would be a nice one to do as a bit of an anniversary gift or sort of a Valentine's Day gift or something like that. And it has a completely different colour palette to the ones that I've shown you so far. But the blues are really lovely. This is stitched on a piece of white Aida or linen. It's one of the bigger ones in the book, but it's not too big. Well, maybe I would actually say it's probably a medium-sized project to begin with. What's nice about Emma Congdon's designs as well is that it's lots of block stitching with some back stitching. Like there's no back stitching in this design, but she tends to have lots of block stitching, and that's great if you're a beginner, because you don't have to concentrate on lots of counting and lots of switching between different colours all of the time. So that's that one. Switching past the pattern. This one is probably my favourite pattern in the book, and it's one that I've got down to stitch first. So this is a family sampler. So you've got family are the people in your life who want you in theirs, the ones who accept you for who you are, who would do anything to see you smile, and who love you no matter what. I just think the words are really, really lovely. I love the colour palette in here. So the pinks and the sort of tealy blues that you've got along with the oranges. It's almost got an autumnal kind of vibe up here, and I really like the woodland sort of animals and the birds that you've got down here. So that's one that I've written down that I want to do first out of this book and display somewhere in my house. I think it's so beautiful and exactly the kind of thing that I want to have up and reflect on those words whenever I walk past. Okay. This one is great if you've got a special pet in your life, especially if you're someone who likes cats. So this says, together is my favourite place to be. Yeah, so you've got the two cats, and again, it gives me sort of sepia vibes, but of course it's a blue colour palette, but it's that kind of idea, different tones of blue that put the design together. I've got a little bit of backstitch in this one. With the sort of bits around here, and then backstitching the cat and the lady in the picture, but again, not too difficult to do, and if you're sort of a cat person, this might be a good design for you. Just a nice one to have up in your home. Okay, this is the next one. In a world where you can be anything, be kind. I think this is a really important sentiment to have in mind. You know, how do we want to be remembered? What do we want our legacy to be? I very much want to be thought of as kind and caring, amongst other things, and yeah, and I think that passing that on to other people, that sentiment is really important. I definitely want my daughter to grow up and be kind. So this is a really lovely one to stitch for that reason, amongst others. It's got a very different colour palette. It looks a lot more tropical, but we do have some trees up here and things. And again, I love the birds. You guys know that I have a thing about birds. So there's that one. Okay, this one, I like the colour palette on this. Your greatness is not what you have, but what you give. So yeah, about giving, not having. Again, I like the sentiment behind that. You've got some really lovely fonts that are used in this. This has almost got like a circus vibe again to it. And I just like the way that she's played around with where to put the placement of the words. A simple design, a simple one to stitch, but I think really effective. I have a sip of my tea. There you go. Okay, so the next one in the book is this one. This is really nice and cheerful. Be the reason someone smiles today. This almost reminds me of some of the rainbow designs that were around during COVID. That kind of idea of keeping people's spirits up and, you know, remembering the good things in life and trying to make people smile. So yeah, this is really cheerful, really bright and really fun. Then we've got in here this design, which is again one of my favourites in the book, We Rise by Lifting Others, and this is a quote by R. Ingersoll. I love the quotation, but I also like the wildlife in here, and like the fact that they're stacked on top of each other. And then we've got some lovely trees down the bottom here. This is another one that Lauren is currently stitching, and it looks so good. So yeah, this is definitely on my wish list. I will stitch this at some point. Okay, then we have got this one, more of a sort of sampler style, but in lots of boxes. And you've got daily acts of kindness, so different things that you can do to be kind. So lots of reminders in there, you know, offer your seat up, give people a hug, cook extra to give away, bake for a neighbour, smile. I think that's so important. Helping people, help carry shopping, that kind of idea. That's really, really lovely. Again, you could take little bits of this and stitch them into individual things if you wanted to. But yeah, it's got a bit of a different colour palette. You've got some nice purples in there as well. Okay, this one is one that I really love as well. I love the floral design of this. So it says, let's root for each other and watch each other grow. Again, I like the quote. I like the way that the typography has been put together, and then the fact that it's surrounded by those really, really pretty flowers in lots of different colours. Again, this is one that is definitely on my wish list, sort of one of the more medium-sized projects in the book. Then we have got another round design finished in a hoop. So take care of each other. You've got a couple of what look like polar bears hugging, which I quite like that idea. A nice, fun, easy one to stitch. And you could do that as a card as well, or a little pillow. That would look really nice. But yeah, that's a really fun, lovely design. A couple more hoop finishes. You are very special to me and you are so loved. Again, a couple of smaller projects. Perhaps if you're a beginner, this would be a nice place to start. They're on white Aida, whereas the previous design was on a darker Aida. And I personally would definitely recommend stitching on a lighter fabric if you're a beginner, and then perhaps progressing to something darker. But there are a couple of nice beginner designs. Then we've got this one, love yourself first and everything else falls into place. What a true thing to say and to remember. You have to take care of yourself, you have to be confident in yourself, and then yeah, things will be much easier. I like the little sort of heart design with the flowers coming out of it over here. And we've got a bit of a different colour palette with the blues and the sort of, this is almost like an aqua blue going on here. So I really like that. Coming towards the last few now. This is the full coverage design in the book, all focused on Pride and the LGBTQIA plus movement. So there's lots of nice words in here to kind of go along with that movement, as well as motifs that match as well. So this, I think, would be one, if you're a more experienced stitcher, it would definitely be one that would take a lot more time to do, but is a really lovely design. I think we've got a couple more. So this one, perhaps they are not stars, but rather openings in heaven, where the love of our lost ones pours through and shines down upon us to let us know they are happy. And that is an Inuit proverb. I really like that one. I really like the quote, and I like a lot of the motifs in between are back stitched. I think that's really effective and looks really, really pretty. Okay, there's this one here, follow your heart, it knows the way. It's quite a fun design with sort of playing cards in mind. There's a Mirabilia design that's sort of playing card-esque, which I've seen before. So this is something that's playing around with that idea as well. I like the mirroring on here. Yeah, so if you're somebody who likes that kind of thing, that might be a good one for you. We can't have that many left. Maybe I've got one. Oh, I think that's the last one actually, because then at the back there are some pages about how to cross stitch, so how to prepare your fabric, how to do cross stitches, back stitches, French knots, and then some advice about how to follow charts and stitch count and things like that. And then there's a conversion chart at the back, so all of the charts are DMC, but then you've got the anchor conversion as well, so just in case you like stitching with anchor threads rather than DMC. And then you've got a bit about Emma Congdon at the back and the index. Obviously I can't show you any of the patterns themselves, but they are really clearly charted. So you've got their colour patterns, and you've got the DMC, the colours that you need down the side of the pattern. They look super easy to follow, yeah, I think they'll be easy to stitch from. So I'm really pleased with my copy of the book, I've definitely got at least a couple that I want to stitch really quickly, but there are lots of designs in here that I'm really keen to stitch at some point in the next however long, but they're definitely on my wish list. I am really lucky in the sense that I do actually have an additional copy of the book. I won a copy of the book from a lovely lady on Instagram called Barbara. I can't remember her Instagram handle. I will leave it in the description box down below. But I actually won a copy of the book, and then very shortly afterwards was sent a copy from the publisher. So what I want to do is I want to give away my extra copy so that somebody, one of my subscribers who would like to stitch from this, can enjoy this and and stitch whatever they want from it. So what I would like you to do, if you want to be entered into the giveaway, if you leave a comment down below with the word heart in it, and what I will do is I will draw a winner for this in my next Flosstube video, which should be around the 9th of July, I think. So you've got a couple of weeks, or just under a couple of weeks to enter for that. Perhaps tell me in the comments down below as well what your favourite design is, what would be the one that you'd want to stitch first, for example. Yeah, I'd be really interested to know that. You know, we could maybe do a stitch along of one, that might be a really nice idea. But yeah, so my extra copy will go to one of you guys, which I'm really happy about. Yeah, so that's everything that I have for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.